And we are back on PJ Sports Talk, the place to be every Saturday at noon. Welcome to PJ Sports Talk. I'm your host PJ with my co-host Dylan, and it is time for our weekly NFL picks, but this time playoff edition. To start off, we got the Bengals at Texans. Who are you going with?
I'm going with the Bengals.
I'm going with the Bengals too. I got a few nuggets of knowledge about the Bengals and Texans that I read on ESPN. Yards after contact. That's a factor. Per ESPN stats and info, the Bengals defense allowed 2.0 yards per rush before contact this season, the third lowest in total in the league. But Cincinnati is allowing 1.9 yards after contact, seventh worst in the NFL. The Texans lead the league with 1,133 yards after contact this season. Ben Tate ran well against the Bengals in the regular season game. 8 carries for 67 yards with a 44-yarder, and quarterback T.J. Yates had a giant 17-yard run on the game-winning drive. Arian Foster had just 41 yards on 15 carries. Given a second chance against Cincinnati coming off a week's rest, I think Foster won't just slip off defenders when he's taking handoffs, but also after pulling in receptions. Hands up. The Texans led the league with 19 passes batted down, largely thanks to their work against Andy Dalton on December 11th when they got their hands on 8. Dalton had the most passes batted down on the season, 79. While the Texans led all defenses with 94 defended passes, the Bengals are likely to call a lot of 3-step drop quick throws. Defensive linemen and outside linebackers can't usually get to the quarterback that quickly. So the next best thing is to pull up and look to get a paw on the ball. Odds are defensive coordinator Wade Phillips finds more ways to fluster Dalton than Dalton finds solutions to what the Texans tried to do to him. No-mo. The Texans don't come into the playoffs with momentum, as they've lost 3 in a row. This year's Texans and Broncos are the 7th and 8th teams to reach the playoffs after losing their final 3 games since the AFL-NFL merger in 1970. According to Ellis Sports Bureau, each of the previous 3 teams to enter the postseason on a losing streak of at least 3 games won its first playoff game. The 2009 Saints won Super Bowl 46. The 2001 Raiders advanced to the divisional playoffs, and the 2000 Vikings made it to the NFC Championship game. And those are a little knowledge about the Bengals-Texans game. Now I'm going to go to the Lions-Saints game. Okay? Who are you going with?
I'm going with the Saints.
I'm going with the Saints too. The reason why I'm going with the Saints is the Graham factor. This was wrote by ESPN. You can make the case that New Orleans tight end Jimmy Graham isn't really a tight end. He might be more of a wide receiver than in a tight end's body. And that's going to create matchup problems for the Lions linebackers. They don't have the speed to stay with Graham, and the defensive backs don't have enough size to shut him down. Graham finished the regular season just 1 reception short of becoming the 3rd tight end in history to have 100 catches in a season. Of Graham's 11 touchdowns, the 9 came on passes outside the yardage numbers on the field, according to ESPN Stats and Information. That was a league high among all receivers and 4 more touchdowns than the next tight end. The blitz, I'm going to let Dylan do this one.
The blitz is coming. There is no secret that New Orleans defensive coordinator Greg Williams likes to use the blitz. The Saints led the league by sending 5 or more pass rushers on 51.1% of opponents' dropbacks during the regular season. Detroit's Matthew Stafford isn't used to a lot of blitzing. Stafford was blitzed on 24.6% of his dropbacks, but the lowest of any quarterback in the league. Stafford struggled when he did see the blitz. He threw 6 interceptions in situations in which he faced 5 or more rushes. And only 4 quarterbacks threw more interceptions in those situations.
And those are the nuggets of knowledge for the Saints Lions game. So now it's going to go to Sunday. Steelers at Broncos. Before we do that, this is PJ Sports Talk, the place to be every Saturday at noon. I'm your host PJ with my co-host Dylan. Okay, Steelers at Broncos. I'm going with the Steelers. Who are you going with?
This is a really hard game for me, but I'm not really sure because Ben Roethlisberger is still injured and can't really get out of the pocket.
Yes, I agree with you. The Steelers, they have their problems, but I still think that they're going to win. They have the top-ranked defense in the league. Most of the teams that have been winning the Super Bowl have the top-ranked defenses. The Broncos, they've been on a losing streak, like I said when we were talking about the Bengals at Texans. They have been on a losing streak, 3 games in a row. I think that the Tebow phenomenon, or did I get that right this time? Did I get that right? Thank you. Okay, I got that right. Is going downhill. It went uphill, and now everything that goes up always have to go down. So now I think that he's now been going back into that when he started in the first part of the season, where he needed to correct his throwing arm, which he still needs to correct. He's gotten a little bit better at it, but he still has that wind-up. And do you think that Tebow needs to work on a few things in this offseason coming up for him very soon? I think
he does. Tebow needs to release the ball a lot faster now going against the top-ranked defense. I mean, he's been getting sacked with a pretty bad defense. And
wait a second. I'm going to hold you right there.
Okay.
Denver has one of the best defenses in the league. They got to be in the top 5 defenses. Okay? Because I think how do you think that the Broncos are winning?
Earlier.
How do you think the Broncos were winning earlier? Because Tebow was winning games against such low scores. How do you think there were such low scores? Do you think they're just mispassing, or do you think God was making the ball go phew?
Well, they were going against easier teams, and his throwing was still better than it is now.
Okay, so this is what you're saying. San Diego Chargers are a good team, or a bad team.
They're not a good team.
Well, yeah, but they're so mild. I mean, come on. That's it. Okay. Falcons at Giants.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to go with
Pick one. Quick. We got to go to a commercial break. Quick.
Steelers.
All right. What? No, Falcons at Giants.
No, about the other game, because I didn't pick.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And then Falcons at Giants.
Giants.
Okay. This is PJ Sports Talk, the place to be every Saturday at noon. Stay tuned with us because our next segment is Mobile Gaming Revolution.